Hey everybody, hope we are doing well. Welcome back to the LAGFX channel, and today we bring you another top trades of the week video. So today I'm basically going to be doing a full review and a full recap of the US dollar to the Japanese yen market. Now the reason I wanted to go over this is because, as you can clearly see on the screen, we have been looking to take some amazing trades out of this market. It has been playing out perfectly. It has been responding to my analysis, my strategy extremely well, and you can see each swing point we were able to identify a way to get involved and then hold trades that were able to profit with some high RR returns. However, I'm not going to be going through every single one of these. There is one that I want to focus on. That is the first one you will see over here, a 76-to-1 RR trade that played out. I'm going to be showing you the proof of it being sent out into the potential entry point group chat, the main LAGFX chat, just to prove to you that this was actually sent out. I've got a log of all the dates of when everything happened. I'll be showing screenshots on the screen so you can see the exact messages, the time they were sent out, and you can reference that back to what I am saying. So what I'm going to do is we will replay price back to that point, and we'll pretty much just run through what my thoughts were at the time, why I placed it, so on, so forth. So if we get the replay tool, I'm going to replay that back to around this point. Now, before we actually dive into how I took the trade, let's actually dive into why. So if we just zoom out slightly, don't need to go too far back, but pretty much we have this higher low in the market. This comes to create a higher high, another higher low. So once price traded up, I was expecting, once we saw that reversal, once we tapped into this zone, we were going to make a move lower, whether it be to mitigate this demand zone and put our next impulsive wave up, or whether it was coming to actually run all of these liquidity lows. My take profit was placed at this point with the expectation it probably was going to mitigate this demand zone and follow this longer term trend. So that is where the overall take was, and as you can see, we have some partial points along the way. So the reason I wanted to partial at these areas, I'll explain the partial one as we go lower, but for the partial two, it's just because price may have wanted to come down, find demand in this region before making a move higher. So to me, this was going to be a major displacement because there's nothing else close underneath price that needs mitigating. The structure is very efficient. However, at this point where we have this last sell to buy, we have some market inefficiencies. So to me, this was the most obvious zone that price would come down into, tap, if it wanted to continue higher. So if it was to blow through this point, that was then to me confirming that we probably would, or it was a very high chance that we would then just run to take profit. So I will now dive down into what actually happened here. So the first thing that I realized is, after setting a market high, we then did have some intermediary bullish structure, but then we had this displacement. So this should have ideally been a protected low, but price ended up falling back through. After doing so, it then held this high. And then what happened is price began trading back down. Now, if we zoom into price, data point unavailable. So that's annoying. We're going to actually have to stick onto the 1 minute. It's not going to let me use the 15-second, unfortunately. So we are just going to have to stick to the 1 minute time frame here. It does not let me go any lower because price has played out so much more since then. Obviously, this was on the 11th of February, so quite a while ago now. But it won't let me go down any lower on the replay mode. So we're just going to have to stick to the 1 minute, but I should be able to still explain what happened. You're going to see that what I noticed here was an impulsive wave down. So I was expecting price to now come and run the next low. Obviously, the reason this was a partial one is because I'm just at the moment expecting price to continue this bearishness. So in order for it to do that, it needs to come and run this low, set a new lower low in the scheme of things. So that's where the first partial was. As I was saying, once I saw price reverse here, I took this as an impulsive wave down, and now in my eyes, the only unmitigated area within this region was this point here. So what happened is in this move down, you see price was very wicky. So it was very efficient structure. Price was moving up and down, mitigating positions before continuing. However, at this point, we have some consolidation and then a heavy move lower. So I was expecting price to tap into this zone, find reversal power, and then start making moves lower. So if we actually replay slightly slower, see price trades up. I have my alert here just at the bottom of the zone. It taps us in, and then here what actually happens, I wish we could go lower, but it's still going to be quite clear to see. We have some, well, we have a distribution, to put it simply. We have the buying climax, automatic reaction, a secondary test. We come back down to some sign of weaknesses. Then the up thrust comes to tap and mitigate the position. Straight after the up thrust, you see that this wick comes to displace the automatic rally, or the lowest point from phase A. What this displacement says to me is that price is now ready to start running lower. It's shown reversal signs. So this becomes a protected high to me, and we're expecting price to now start breaking down. So it does consolidate for a while here. We do nearly get stopped out there. So this is just something that can happen. Of course, we would now review the analysis and say, this was the up thrust, this was the up thrust after distribution, the UTAD. The reason why I wouldn't refine that stop loss too tightly is because we have to account for moves like this. So you see that we then come set that UTAD. After we've done that, we break the low, so we've displaced again. So that is again early confirmation of the reversal. So I'd now expect this to be the protected high. Maybe price comes up and mitigates a position before moving lower. Maybe it doesn't, but we're in the position now, so it does not matter. Probably worth noting this was a pending order for me. So the second price tapped at about 116.023. That is when we entered. But before I continue playing price out, I've got on the notes here. So the position was placed on February the 11th at 11 AM. So I'm going to flash some images on the screen now, and you're going to see the exact messages that were sent through into the group chat, how I went about showing the guys what I was looking for. You'll also see the image of how I got entry confirmation, which is on the 5 or 15 second, I believe. But anyway, if we then start playing price out, the next point we're looking at is this partial one. So waiting to see if price eventually comes and trades us down. Let's speed this up a little bit, just so we don't have to sit and wait for too long. This is just another zone that I was hoping to potentially get another position in on here. So what happens here? Price at around 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, comes down to our partial point. So at around that time, that is when a message was sent out. So I'll flash another image on the screen now. I think price was running around about 7 RR, where we took the first partial. So we took a half of the position off, so we've still got 1 half running. Okay, and then at 7 o'clock, so we're going to have to replay this a bit further along. Now what actually happened is, as we reached the afternoon, as you're going to see shortly, is we had something happen fundamentally. Not too sure what it was, but price really did make a move lower. As you can see, it's starting to make those moves now. If we just wait until we get to about 5, 6 o'clock, which is coming very shortly, and you'll see that price really does make a move lower. And thankfully, we were in the position and able to catch that. There we go. And then you see this heavy drop, heavy drop. Now, it was at about 7 o'clock. Price was running at 40 RR. So that is about 80 pips, because the stop loss was 2 pips. So if we use the measure tool, I'll try and find out exactly where we did partial. So that would be at 80 pips. Okay, so it was a bit later on from where price is now. Apologies. We'll keep replaying. Okay, yeah, there we go. So you see the price runs down at about 7 PM GMT time. We take another partial. So because we have half of our position left, when we take another half of that half, we're actually taking off a quarter of the position. So we've taken off a quarter of our position at 40 RR, which basically gives us 10 RR. So that is when a partial 2 was taken. Now we don't need to get caught up on looking on those lower time frames, because I just left the remaining quarter of the position running. As you'll see, eventually price does play around for quite a while, but you're going to see that eventually when we trade back down to here, it comes to hit that take profit where we get a lovely take profit hit. Anyways, I do have some notes, because what's happened here is on February the 14th, so a few days later, we were in 45 RR profit, so pretty much after the weekend, because markets closed here on the 11th. So as we come into the 14th, I've got it at around midday. So where are we at now? We're on the 14th, so we need to keep letting price play. Here you go. So you're going to see another screenshot on the screen now, which is from the Monday. So after the markets were closed over the weekend, the original position was placed Friday morning. You're going to see that I gave an update into the chat telling everybody that we were in 45 RR profits at around 12 o'clock. So what happened here is that I advised that we could potentially take another partial if we wanted to, because price isn't looking as if it wants to make a large move lower. And then on top of that, you see we have this unmitigated area that I was watching, which to me probably did need to be mitigated before we ran the take profit, because of this heavy market inefficiency that was caused Friday night by some form of fundamental news. Regardless, the next screenshot that is going to be on your screens is pretty much where I've sent this analysis through into the group chat. I told the guys that I was looking at this unmitigated position and I was waiting to see if price would trade us into it, where you could potentially get involved in another sell position. So let's just go up the time frame, so we're not waiting around for this too long. But you should eventually see that price does tap us into this region. There we go. Price taps us in perfectly. Now, we could have gotten in here because we had that 50% hit. We could have had a pending order there if that was the case. We could have then got involved in that position with the take profit again all the way down here. However, I wanted some more confirmation. So as you'll see from the analysis on screen, price tapped us back into this zone. So a mitigation of what did mitigate the original supply zone. You see that we found a distribution in this region. Price is creating that liquidity, blows through, injects momentum. We got in on the position right there, just as it tapped in from a pending order. And again, price just moves down with heavy pressure. Now, I had this zone drawn up because, like here, after we had that heavy move lower, we left some market inefficiency. So this was that last buy to sell region that was unmitigated, that price should ideally have come down to. You see again, I was watching price to potentially get another sell here. Price taps us in, we get a distribution. We could have got involved here in another sell position to ride us down. Price continues lower, giving us continual lower highs, lower lows, so further confirming that original trade, because we are still definitely bearish. Now I'm just going to show you the screenshots here, because on February the 18th, so right around this point, this was actually a message I sent out in the group chat, so you'll see some more screenshots here. I told the guys that I was looking at this zone, I was waiting to see if price would trade us back up, distribute, and then we could actually get involved again in more sell positions to try and ride price down into the demand zone, because from February the 11th all the way up to the 24th, so for nearly 2 weeks, all I wanted to do in this market was keep edging in on more sell positions, because price was delivering perfect bearish structure, and of course my bias and story was for price to come and hit this demand zone at the bottom of the range. And now you're going to see here, right as price sets this low in the market, that is where we get the take profit hit. So this is later on, February the 21st. I'm going to put the 7th picture now on the screen. So the last picture, which basically updated everybody, told them that the take profit had been hit, which meant that the 76-1 RR trade that we had placed played out perfectly. So as stated, if we just recap now, the partial 2 gave us 10 RR. If you remember me running through exactly how we worked that out. Now partial 1, so from entry, we took half a position off at partial 1. So if we dive into this using the measure tool, so from entry to the partial 1, that was 14 pips. So that was 7 RR, which we took half off. So that is plus 3.5 RR. So far, that is 13.5 RR returns. And then, of course, the remaining 1/4 of a position came and hit the 76 to 1. What is a quarter of that? Well, that is 19 RR. So in total, we had the 19 RR hit here, plus 10 RR, plus 3.5. If we get the box tool out, of course, 3.5 plus 10 plus 19 is going to equal 32.5. So 32.5 RR returns. Now, we advise that all clients risk no more than 2% and probably do go to risk 2%. So if that was the case, this would have been a 65% return. I personally only use a 1% risk, so I actually gained 32.5% returns. Now, a disclaimer I do want to throw out there is that it is very unrealistic to catch these trades all the time. Like, this is more than likely a once-a-year trade. This is not something you're going to be able to regularly catch. Everything just played out perfectly. That is all we can ever hope when we enter a trade, is that it keeps playing out the way we want. Now, at any point during, well, from the 11th to the 21st, price could have disregarded the analysis. It could have blown us out, could have blown our stop loss, whatever that may have been. But it continually delivered us that bearish structure, and it played out perfectly. So that is exactly how we call a 76 to 1 RR trade in February. It's exactly how we made 65% back from one trade. So that really just displays the capabilities that this strategy has. In-depth understanding of liquidity, order flow, how the institutions manipulate, identifying the footprints they leave over, and then using those footprints to take trades from. This is the power that it has. 76 RR returns, 65%. All that needs to be said is, if you want the chance to get involved in some of these trades and see this analysis, see how I trade and view the markets to catch trades like this, make sure you either A, get into our free learning lounge, or if you like what you see there, go onto the website, sign up to the 7-day free trial for the main group chat, the potential entry point chat, to be able to get involved in these positions the next time we find them. On top of that, when you go onto the website, you're going to notice that there is a course called Beating the Banks. This is something I have tailor-made to pretty much teach you everything there is to know about this strategy. You're going to get 4 in-depth PDFs with 100 plus pages in total. You're going to get 5-hour-long calls with me after you've read through the PDFs, so that we can walk you through it, make sure you're fully confident in your abilities, and also trade the live markets together. On top of that, there is a private YouTube series that goes alongside the PDFs that you can watch along with. And then finally, you get free access into the main chat so that you can profit alongside us in the future. Regardless, without rambling on, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching me break down this market and how we got this ridiculous trade. However, thank you for watching. Please leave feedback. Make sure you share this around. Show everybody that a 65% return trade is possible, and I've shown you exactly how I did it with the proof. Anyways, we will see you back on the LAGFX channel the next time we do another top trades of the week.